Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Alan Ladd starring in an episode of Box 13 as it was originally broadcast July 10th, 1948. This episode entitled Double Trouble.
Box 13, with the star of Paramount Pictures, Alan Ladd as Dan Holliday.
Box 13, care of Star Times. If you're interested in preventing a murder, come to 327 North Greeley Street in Edgemont. It should take you only 3 hours by train to get here. But you must come at exactly 3:30, or it may be too late. The whole letter was typed. Even the signature at the bottom, Pat Kennedy. I didn't know if Pat Kennedy was a man or a woman, but as it turned out, it didn't matter, even though I got there before 3:30.
And now, back to Box 13 and Dan Holliday's newest adventure, Double Trouble.
How long will you be gone this time, Mr. Holliday?
Well, that's a little hard to tell, Susie. I think it depends on Pat Kennedy, whoever he or she is.
I don't like letters that have only typed signatures at the bottom.
Why not?
Well, it always makes me think that someone else wrote it.
And that's exactly what makes me think this may be very interesting.
You mean you agree with me?
Absolutely.
But you're still going to Edgemont.
That's right, Susie. I'll never learn, will I?
Someday you'll get into trouble.
What makes you think I haven't already? Well, don't put the light in the window for me, Susie. I'll try to find my way around in the dark. So long. Well, whoever wrote that letter was right. The train left me on Edgemont Station platform exactly 3 hours after I left Susie. And a taxi left me in front of 327 Greeley Street at 3:20, 10 minutes before deadline. It was an apartment house. I walked into the lobby. A not too interested clerk looked up as I walked over to him.
Yeah?
Is there a Pat Kennedy living here?
Uh-huh. Miss Pat Kennedy. Why?
I'd like to see her.
Apartment 1B, straight down the hall.
Aren't you going to ring her up first?
Well, no phone in her place. But be sure you knock first.
Oh, sure. That's one of my good habits. 1B, you said, huh?
Yeah, 1B, I said.
Thank you.
Sure, anytime.
I got to apartment 1B. I knocked. Then I tried the door. It was open, and I walked in. Miss Kennedy? Pat Kennedy? I walked into the apartment a little farther. The clock on a table ticked away, its hands at 3:23. There was a window open in the room, and I walked to it. The window faced a court. I turned away from it, walked into the bedroom, and I stopped. Miss Kennedy. Miss Kennedy. Whew.
Don't move, Bud.
Huh?
Get away from her.
You better send for a doctor.
Just stay right where you are. Doctor, it's a little late for that. She's dead.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, you did, huh?
And who are you?
I think I'll ask the questions. Stand right there.
Now, look, this girl's been killed. I'm going for the... Oops. His fist hit me right on the button, and when I got my interest back, he was still there, looking down at me. With him was another man. The newcomer blinked once or twice, and then...
The next time you try to make a break for it, fellow, make sure you don't try an end run past an ex-pug.
What makes you think he's ex?
Come on, get up.
What's this all about?
Got any idea who we are?
No?
My name is Johnston. Lieutenant Johnston, homicide.
Who called the police?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. Cassidy?
Yeah, Lieutenant?
Bring that clerk in here.
Yes, sir, right away.
So you're the police?
Uh-huh. And you're Dan Holliday, visiting Edgemont.
How do you know who I am?
Your wallet identification.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, start talking. Who did this?
Are you kidding?
Hardly. Take a look at her, and then ask that again.
I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about it.
No? Cassidy walked in on you while you were bending over.
So what? That doesn't mean anything.
Well, maybe not, but
He's the clerk, Lieutenant.
Okay. Ever see this man before? You, I'm talking to you.
Me?
That's right.
Sure, I seen him. He came in maybe 10 minutes ago and asked for Miss Kennedy.
Is that right, Holliday?
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh. Cassidy?
Yes, sir.
What time did you walk in on this?
Oh, maybe 3:25.
That's right, too.
You, clerk, what's your name?
Marvin Redmond.
Anyone else come to see Miss Kennedy today?
No, sir, nobody. Just this man.
You sure?
Yes.
Could anybody get by you at the desk?
Oh, no, I see everybody who comes in.
Uh-huh. Well, Holliday?
What do you mean, well?
You were the only one here.
Now, wait a minute. I don't know any more about this than you do. I came in here and found her like that.
Why?
Why what?
Why did you come to see her?
She asked me to.
Old friends?
I didn't even know her.
You want to say that again?
What I meant was, I didn't know who she was. Wait a minute. There's a letter in my wallet.
Letter?
Yeah, it wasn't here.
What kind of a letter are you talking about?
It's a letter from Miss Kennedy asking me to help her. She was afraid of being killed.
And she had a reason. So you got a letter from her?
That's right. Someone took the letter. Where did you find my wallet?
On the floor. Why?
The person who killed her also took that letter out of my wallet.
Look, you tried to get past Cassidy. He thought you were making a break for it and slugged you. And then he called headquarters. You weren't alone for even 10 seconds.
Meaning no one could have taken that letter?
Right.
Oh, no, that's wrong. I mean,
Huh? What were you going to say, Redmond?
Well, there's no phone in here. Mr. Cassidy had to come to the desk to make a call.
Cassidy, did you?
Well, sure, but this guy was out cold. He couldn't get away, so I thought it...
So you thought it was all right to take a walk down the hall? You idiot. You should have called for the clerk and got him to make the call.
But, Lieutenant, I thought...
but...
Well, Lieutenant Johnson...
Shut up. You're going to headquarters.
On what charge?
Just one, but it's a good one. Suspicion of murder. So that's your story, huh, Holliday? You're a good Samaritan. You help people.
That's it. Call Lieutenant Kling. I gave you the number.
And I'll give you some news. This happens to be Edgemont, different city. I'm the lieutenant here.
Kling can identify me, verify my story.
I'll do all the police work necessary on this case.
Sure you will. Cassidy, one of your men, pulls a prize boner. He walks out of a room where there's a murdered girl. He leaves me there alone.
So what?
That's exactly what you're thinking. So what? Cover for him. Use me as a goat. You've got a sucker. Is that it? Play him for all he's worth.
Yeah, I'll play you for all you're worth. You were the only one to see that Kennedy girl today.
So that makes me a killer.
That makes you the best suspect I've ever seen.
What's my motive for killing?
I'll find one.
Oh, you will?
I will.
So you really believed I killed her?
I do.
Mm-hmm. You want to charge me with murder? Or just book me on suspicion?
You're a pretty smart boy, aren't you?
Just smart enough to know that you don't have enough evidence to charge me. And while we're on the subject of intelligence, how come your man Cassidy was Johnny on the spot?
You'd like to know, wouldn't you?
It might help.
We were tipped. Someone called headquarters, said there'd be a murder at that address, and I sent Cassidy.
Uh-huh. So the letter I got from her is gone. Somebody tips the police, and you still refuse to believe it might have been a frame, with me doing the laughing cavalier inside it.
I'll tell you everything when I've got everything.
Meanwhile, you'll cover for Cassidy so your detective division doesn't get a laugh.
Shut up! Yes?
Lieutenant?
What'd you expect, Sherlock?
Lieutenant, is it all right to talk?
Can you?
Is Holliday gonna be charged?
What do you got, Cassidy? Why do you ask that?
Because there's an attorney here with a writ of habeas corpus.
What? What did you say?
Well, there's a lawyer here.
Shut up! Well, got friends in town, Holliday?
If so, they're very welcome.
And you said you were a stranger in Edgemont.
I still say it.
Uh-huh. Yet a perfect stranger comes along and springs you on a writ.
Is that so?
And he knows there'll have to be a bail posted. Brother, that's hospitality.
Well, Lieutenant, is there a formal charge, or do I walk out of that door? Well,
get out.
Well, thank you.
But I'm not finished with you. Don't try to leave town or you'll be picked up for jumping bail.
Don't worry. I'm just as much interested in this as you are.
Holiday, mark my words, I believe you're guilty. And so help me, as sure as I'm a foot high, I'll get evidence to prove it.
Even if you have to frame me to clear that great brain, meaning Cassidy.
Yeah, I'll get you. And when I do, it'll be for keeps.
Well, Lieutenant Johnson was burned. He knew his department was in for a roasting if Cassidy's mistake got out. Meanwhile, I looked very funny as a goat. And I didn't even know who had had me released. The lawyer brought the writ and put my bail up, wouldn't say a word. He left me, and it was dark when I walked out on the street. I couldn't leave Edgemont, and I didn't want to, not yet. I got into a cab knowing I'd be followed by one of Johnson's men, and went to a hotel and registered. I was just sitting down to think when... Yes, who is it?
Is that Mr. Holliday?
Yes, who are you?
Please, I must see you. Please let me in.
Oh, no thanks. Not until I know who and what you are.
Look, I will slide something under the door. You look at it, then you decide that you should let me in or not. All right?
Go ahead.
Did it come through?
Yeah.
You are satisfied, Mr. Holliday?
This is a receipt for my bail bond.
Yes. I'm the one who got you out. Please, I can come in now.
You're Philip Duval?
Yes. Now, please to let me in before it is too late.
Okay, come on in quickly.
Mr. Holliday, you know that you are followed here.
Sure, Johnson's watching every move I make.
Yes.
Why'd you bail me out? What do you know about Pat Kennedy?
I knew her 10 years ago, maybe. We were dancing partners.
Wait a minute. Were you followed up here?
Oh, no, I am sure that I was not.
How do you know?
Because the police do not know me.
Well, how do you know I was here?
I was watching Pat's room.
Yes, go on.
Then I waited outside the police station. I see you come out. I see the detective follow you. I make sure I am not followed. Then I come here.
Uh-huh. And then what?
I come to this hotel and take a room. I looked at the register. I see your name. Then I wait, and then come here.
Mr. Duval, you seem to know quite a bit about how to evade tacklers and slip away from enemies.
Because I want to know who killed her.
What was she to you?
We are in love once. Then she leaves me. I do not see her for a long time. I find out she is here, and I come.
And kill her?
No, please. Please, would I do all this for you if I kill her? Why?
Maybe I'll find an answer. What do you want with me now?
I want to give you this.
This is a letter addressed to Box 13.
Yes, you will please to read it.
Box 13. By accident, I saw your ad in the Star-Times. I must have your help because I cannot go to the police. Please come to me as soon as you can.
You see, she is afraid. The one time I see her, she tells me she is afraid.
Of what? Of whom?
I do not know.
How did you get hold of this letter?
She gave it to me to mail. I laugh at her. I think she is being foolish. But now...
So you didn't mail it?
No.
Yet, I did receive a letter with a typed signature. A letter that anyone could have written.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Duval. Sit down and do a lot of talking.
Oh, no, not here. You will please come to my address later tonight.
Why?
Because although I am not sure, I think I know who killed her. And unless you want to be arrested for her murder, I think you better come to see me.
July 10th, 1948, Box 13 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it. Find out why they rave about the customer service, and Find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Box 13, July 10th, 1948.
And now back to Double Trouble, another Box 13 adventure with Alan Ladd as Dan Holliday.
Well, I had to take Duvall at his word. What that word was, I didn't know. Maybe he did kill Pat Kennedy. Maybe he didn't. Anyway, I had to see him. I slipped out of the hotel knowing that one of Johnson's men was trailing me. I had to find some way to get rid of him. There was a war surplus store open down the street. I went in.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Yes, I think so. Got any coveralls?
Oh, sure. Stacks of them. What size?
44. Any place I can try them on?
Yes, the small room in the back. I'll get you a pair of the coveralls.
It's all right. I'll look for them myself. I'd like to pick them out.
All right. They're all on the racks there.
How much are they?
$3.95.
Okay, here you are.
Thank you. Even change. Just take your pick.
Yeah, thanks. I slipped behind one of the racks. The plainclothesman trailing me was waiting outside. I picked one of the coveralls from the rack and slipped into the back room. Pulled the coveralls over my clothes and climbed out of the room through a window. It wasn't a great disguise, but it was better than having the police look for a man wearing a light gray suit. 20 minutes later, I rang the bell at Duvall's place.
Yes?
Is Mr. Duvall here?
Philip?
Yes, Philip Duvall.
No, he's not here. Will you come in, please?
Oh, thank you.
I'm worried for him. He said he would be home an hour ago, but he's not come.
No phone call to you?
No. Well, who are you, please?
A friend of his. My name is Holliday.
Holliday? Then you are the man he went to see.
Tonight?
Oui.
You mean he called and said he was going to see me?
No, he went earlier.
Uh-huh. And he hasn't come back yet?
No. Oh, I'm so worried.
Do you know Pat Kennedy?
Yes, I know her. I read that she is dead, and I'm glad.
Glad? Why?
Philip loved her. She did not love him. She left him.
Yes, I know all that.
Philip did not know Miss Kennedy was here until he happened to see her.
Did he mention that she was afraid of something?
Yes, he told me. But I asked him, I beg him not to see her because she's not good. She's not good at all.
Do you know of what she was afraid?
No. Only that Philip told me that she could not go to the police, that the police would not be able to help.
I wonder why not.
I do not know. I know nothing except that I want my son to forget her, because if he does not, she will bring bad things, she will.
That's your phone. It's probably your son.
Yes, it is Philip.
Would you tell him I'm here, please, and to hurry?
Yes? Yes, this is Mrs. Duval. No, I'm his mother. What? No.
What?
No.
What's the matter?
No.
Give me the receiver, quickly.
No.
Hello. Mrs. Duvall can't talk.
No.
What?
Fine.
Oh, goodbye. Mrs. Duvall, I'm terribly sorry.
They do not mean what they say. They do not mean it. My son cannot be dead.
I'm afraid it's true. That was the police.
What will I do? What will I do?
Wait here, Mrs. Duvall. I'm beginning to get an idea. What the idea was a little fantastic, but things began to add up. The first place to check my addition was back at Pat Kennedy's apartment. There were no police watching the place, so I slipped in. The same clerk was on duty. I walked up to his desk.
Anything I can do for... Hey, you.
Hello, Marvin.
What do you want? I thought you was in jail.
They let me out. Marvin, how long did Miss Kennedy live here?
You got no right
Come on. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want some questions answered.
I know nothing about it.
I think you do. Who came to see Miss Kennedy when she was alive?
Listen, I don't want no trouble.
You've got it. Answer me. Did anyone come to see Miss Kennedy often?
Yeah, but I didn't know who he was. Not until...
Until today, huh?
That's right. I didn't know. But that don't make no difference.
But it makes a lot of difference now. Thanks, Marvin. You've helped me a lot.
You ain't gonna get me in no trouble.
No trouble at all for anyone, except me. Now I want to go into Miss Kennedy's apartment.
You can't go in there.
I think I can. Come on, Marvin, let me in.
You said there wasn't gonna be no trouble.
Marvin, you'll get up off of that chair and let me in Miss Kennedy's apartment or I'll...
Okay. But you're making me do it. If the police ask, you're making me do it.
That's right. Come on.
Come on, then.
That's the boy. Straight ahead. Go ahead in, Marvin.
I gotta get back to the desk.
Sure, and call the police? I don't think so, Marvin. You're staying right here.
What are you looking for?
A typewriter. You see any?
She didn't have none.
How do you know?
I never heard of using one.
Mm-hmm. Look around. If you see one, yell.
I gotta get back to the desk.
Just a minute. In a minute.
There ain't no typewriter in here.
Uh-huh. I didn't think there would be.
Well, then what's the idea?
A good one. Okay, Marvin, I'm sorry to do this, but I'm going to have to put you out of action for a little while. Until I can get into action.
July 10th, 1948, Box 13, starring Alan Ladd, right here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Box 13, starring Alan Ladd, July 10th, 1948.
What are you going to do? You ain't going to hit me or nothing like that?
No, don't worry. You're just going to be tied up. It'll be uncomfortable. But I'll tell you something, Marvin.
What?
You won't be half as uncomfortable as I was, and still could be. So, Miss Kennedy didn't have a typewriter. And the letter Duvall had shown me proved that she wrote a letter to me by hand. So it was a frame to get me for her murder. And I had a pretty good idea who put it around me. But proving it was another matter. I took off the coveralls I was still wearing, hopped a cab, and went back to police headquarters. And when I walked in...
Hey, it's you.
Hello, Cassidy.
Where did you come from?
Never mind that now. Is Lieutenant Johnson in?
No, he ain't.
No, I don't wait. Do you mind?
What do you want to see him about?
The murder of Miss Pat Kennedy and the murder of Philip Duvall.
What are you talking about?
I'll tell the lieutenant all about it.
Huh? Maybe you better tell me, Holliday.
I'm saving it. Mind if I wait in Johnson's office?
How about waiting in my office?
No, thanks. I like to be alone and do some thinking.
What about?
Lots of things. But this is getting us nowhere. I'm going into Johnson's office.
I told you we ain't in.
I know you told me, and I told you I'd wait for him.
Okay, go ahead in and wait.
Well, thanks, Cassidy.
I'll tell him you're in there. And don't try to get out once you're in.
Don't worry, I'll stay put. This time. So far, so good. I took a quick look around Johnson's office. There was a typewriter, and I tried it. The type looked the same as the typing on the letter I'd received. The one supposed to have come from Pat Kennedy. Then, as I was looking around...
You looking for something, Holliday?
Oh, come in, Lieutenant.
You just love to stick your head in bad places, don't you?
Look, Johnson, you would like to know who killed Pat Kennedy, wouldn't you?
I know.
Maybe you do. And maybe you'd also like to know who killed Philip Duvall, because he knew of what Pat Kennedy was afraid.
He was afraid? Of what?
Not of what, Johnson. Of whom?
What have you got, Holliday?
Look, the killer murdered her after he sent me that letter. He killed her just before I was due to show up there.
Go on.
But the letter was missing from my wallet.
If there was a letter?
There was, and it was written on this.
What are you talking about? You're crazy.
I don't think so. From all I found out, Miss Kennedy wasn't too nice. Maybe she was keeping company with someone who got tired of her. Someone who couldn't afford to let it be known that he knew her.
Who is this he you're talking about?
The same man who took the letter from my wallet. The same man who watched me go into that apartment building and then called the police and tipped you to the murder.
There was only one man alone with you.
That's right.
Cassidy?
Could be.
Now, wait a minute.
You wait. I'll sit here on your desk and talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, he waits until I get to the apartment. This man who's afraid the girl will spill the beans about the two of them. Previously, he'd threatened her if she talked. But she was afraid to go to the police, only because the police couldn't help her.
Meaning that the man who threatened her
was on the force. Oh, it's funny, huh?
Yeah, you're doing a lot of talking, but you haven't said anything yet.
All right, I'll start now. That was only the build-up. Wait till I get through.
I'm waiting.
So, Cassidy kills her, frames me, tips the police.
Sure. Only he was here when I sent him out to follow up the tip. How could he kill her and get back in that short time?
Because the call came from here. Look, all you have to do to get an outside line on one of these phones is to push up this lever. You get a dial tone. You dial police, put in a fake call, then sit back and wait to be sent out on it.
Yeah. But there's only one more thing wrong, Holiday.
Name it.
You got there early.
I know I did. What?
I said you got there early.
Yeah, I got there early. Not at 3:30 as the letter asked, but at 3:20. Now, how could you know that unless you read the original letter?
Don't move, Holiday.
I won't, because I'm not finished. The man who killed Miss Kennedy and Duvall was you. You got Duvall's name and address from the copy of the bail receipt. You had access to it. You knew where to find him.
What are you going to do with all this wonderful information?
Give it to the police.
I'm the police. I'm in charge of this case.
Mm-hmm. And if I start to walk out of that door?
You'll be killed while escaping.
And if I sit right here on your desk, how will you explain a lot of things that will have to come out if I'm brought to trial?
Yeah, that's true, too, isn't it? I guess the only thing to do is kill you. Now turn around. I have to make this look good. You were running away from me. I shot you. Turn around, Holiday. If you don't, I'll do it for you. Now get up.
Okay. I'm up.
Turn around. Start walking toward that window.
Okay, I'm walking.
That's it. Far enough. Now, Holiday...
Down, Holiday!
Here, Cassidy!
Drop that gun, Lieutenant!
You stupid fool!
Thank you, Cassidy. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Say, you're a pretty smart guy. A pretty smart guy to do what you did.
But Mr. Holliday, it was a policeman that did the murders?
Don't let that throw you, Susie. You see, there's a bad apple in every barrel, no matter what the barrel is. Don't let it change your opinion of the thousands of policemen doing a wonderful job all over the country.
Of course. Mr. Holliday, how did it happen that Mr. Cassidy came in just at the right time?
Because I was sitting on Johnson's desk.
I don't get it.
Well, you see, there was an inter-office communication box on his desk. I kept most of the levers pressed down. I sat on them. Somebody had to hear that conversation between me and Johnson, and I figured someone would come in. If they hadn't have... Well, Edgemont is a nice city, but not one I'd like to be buried in.
You sat on the levers through the whole conversation.
Uh-huh.
Gee, that's sure using your head, Mr. Holliday.
It's your... Huh? Oh, good night, Susie.
Listen in again next week when, through the courtesy of Paramount Pictures, Alan Ladd stars as Dan Holliday in Box 13. Box 13 is directed by Richard Sandville, and this week's original story was written by Russell Hughes. Original music is composed and conducted by Rudy Schrager, and the part of Susie is played by Sylvia Picker. Vern Karstensen is in charge of production. Box 13 is a Mayfair production from Hollywood. Watch for Alan Ladd in his latest Paramount picture.
Box 13 from July 10th, 1948 on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Debbie in Berlin, Maryland enjoys Bob and Ray, and this is especially for her, especially since her husband doesn't get it. This is from July 10th, 1959.
And now, from coast to coast, approximately, Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding are very pleased and delighted to present the CBS Radio Network. Okay, Whistlers, back again here at the Bob and Ray Show.
Boy, you realize another weekend is upon us already?
That's right.
I want to thank you for the mail that we've received.
Have any big plans for this weekend?
No, just going to stay around, mow the lawn.
Get that all done, huh?
Yeah.
I guess most people will be, too. Wally Ballew, our remote broadcaster, is somewhere today. We don't know exactly. I notice the engineer is nodding, which would indicate that Wally has called in and is ready to go on the air. So come in, please, Wally Ballew.
This is personable, well-preserved Wally Ballew speaking from the Pfeffernick Memorial Stadium in Green River, Wyoming. This mammoth structure, which is the largest of its type in the world, is being dedicated today. And beside me at the microphone is the man responsible for the whole thing, Mr. Claude U. Pfeffernick. I presume, Mr. Pfeffernick, that this huge stadium is named in memory of some departed member of your family?
No, as a matter of fact, Mr. Ballew, I named it after myself.
But it's called Pfeffernick Memorial Stadium, and you're still living.
Well, it's very observant of you to notice that, and you're quite correct in saying that I'm still living. But, of course, I'm enough of a realist to know that that won't always hold true. And I just didn't want to leave the job of building this memorial stadium to my wife. She'd crumb it up for sure, I know.
Yes, well, I've met Mrs. Pfeffernick, and I'd be inclined to go along with you on that.
Well, I know it sounds pretty egotistical to be dedicating this stadium in memory of myself. But I've spent $33 million building the thing, and I figure for that kind of money, I can dedicate it to anybody I darn please.
Well, now, the stadium certainly is a breathtaking sight when seen from the inside like this. I wonder if you'd describe it to our radio audience, Mr. Pfeffernick.
Well, I'd be glad to. I get a real kick out of talking about it. Now, the stadium is a huge bowl-shaped affair, and it has an upper deck and an upper deck over the upper deck. And it provides very comfortable seating for 368,000 people.
And, of course, that makes it more than 3 times as large as any other existing stadium.
Actually, it makes it more than 3 times as large as any other existing stadium.
Certainly is amazing. I might also mention that in the center of this huge bowl is a playing field about 70 feet long and perhaps 34 to 35 feet wide. Right, Mr. Pfeffernick?
Oh, no. The field is a little larger than that. It's 1,500 feet long and 1,250 feet wide.
Well, I guess my perspective from up here is a little bit off.
Yes, it's quite a bit off.
Well, the thing I've been wondering about are those huge concrete pillars that are planted all over the field down there.
Well, now, those are quite unique, Mr. Ballew. They're 10 feet high and 3 feet in diameter, and we have 72 of them constructed on the field there. Now, you might also be interested to know that the bases for those pillars go all the way down to bedrock. They're really in there to stay.
Well, what are they for?
No, I don't remember. The architect told me, but I forget now.
You certainly couldn't play baseball or football with those big pillars all over the field.
No, any team sport would be extremely dangerous with those pillars there. Of course, we don't have any pro baseball or football here in Green River anyway.
Well, what are you going to actually use the stadium for then?
Well, now, that's a fairly thought-provoking question. I suppose you could play hide-and-go-seek with the contestants hiding behind the pillars. But then I can't imagine 368,000 people coming out to watch it.
I wouldn't think so, no.
It's funny, I never thought of that before. All during the construction, I had a feeling that we were making a mistake somewhere.
I want to thank you for showing us around today.
Well, it's just $33 million poured down a rat hole. That's what it is.
And this is Radio Wally Ballew at Green River, Wyoming, sending it back to Bob and Ray in New York.
New York, he was going to say, I'm sure.
Well, as we said earlier, the weekend is coming.
Well, it's practically here.
And no stopping it, of course.
Don't see how, anyway.
So we might as well make the best of it. Well, Welcome now to Whirling Birds and High Adventure as we follow Chick and NG, who are trying to build up Whirling Birds Incorporated, a growing concern.
Whirling Birds, Inc., Chick Stash here.
You run a helicopter service?
That's right.
My name is Roger Provenzano, and I'm part owner of the Provenzano-Proctor Golf Driving Range.
Don't you worry about it, Mr. Provenzano. I know where your place is. We'll be there in no time at all. So long.
Wait a minute. Don't you want to know what the job is?
Well, that's up to you, Mr. Provenzano. All we want is high adventure. You can certainly understand that, can't you?
Sure. Now, my golf ball retriever is stuck out on the range. I think he's got the grip. And he's taking a battering out there because he can't move quickly enough.
Well, say no more, Mr. Provenzano.
Huh?
NG and I will haul him up.
Good. And if you do a job, I'll let you swat a bucket of free golf balls.
There she is, Chick, baby. Provenzano Proctor Driving Range.
I'll swing the chopper around.
Chick, look out. There's the road reports helicopter. Swing our baby around, quick.
Too late, NG. We shut off his rotovanes. He's had it.
Well, there'll be a traffic jam on the turnpike tonight. Won't there, Chick, baby?
I guess so. NG, we're over the Provenzano Proctor Golf Driving Range now.
Yes, and there's our man, lying between the 175 and 200-yard signs. Seems to be in bad shape.
You think you'll be able to get into the Nyquist seat when you lower it?
Well, I'll use the Porta-Talk amplifier and explain it to
Right,
him.
NG. Now I'll swing this baby right over him. That's got it. Okay, go ahead, NG, baby. Get to work with the Porta-Talk.
You, lying down there. We're going to lower a Nyquist seat. It's made of canvas and has hemp strap supports.
Does he seem to understand, NG, baby?
He hasn't moved, Chick. Can you lose some altitude, Chick, baby?
We're at 11,000 now. Any lower, and we'd wind up with several gross of golf balls in here, boy.
Well, I'll try again.
Golf ball retriever. If you know what a Nyquist seat is, wave your arms. A Nyquist seat, I say.
Any luck?
Not yet. He hasn't waved. He's inert.
Wait till I swing this baby around and have a look for myself. No, NG, it's one of two things. One, he's too ill to move. Two, he doesn't know what an Nyquist seat is. There's nothing we can do here.
Right, Chick, baby. Let's move on for more high adventure.
Right, NG, baby. We'll call Provenzano later and explain the limitations of an aircraft of this type. In non-technical terms, of course.
Let's go, Chick.
Okay, boy.
Those two birds are exciting, huh?
Well, I like a little adventure myself.
Now, you going into the audience?
I thought so. If I could take this microphone, go down and talk to some of the folks. Now, let's see. Him. No, now, please. No, none of that. No, please. No, sir. Let me see. Him, all right. You, sir. What's your name?
Clifton Wordlinger.
Clifton Wordlinger. And,
I'm a pizza flipper at the Circular Food Restaurant on 42nd Street. You from New York?
Are you from New York?
No,
sir?
I'm not.
No. Where are you from?
Menlo Park, New Jersey.
Menlo Park, New Jersey. Isn't that the home of Thomas A. Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park?
Yes, although in his younger days he wasn't known as a wizard.
Well, I guess a person has to do quite a bit before he's known as a wizard, I think.
That's right. That's the reason you won't find too many young wizards around these days.
Well, Edison certainly was a Garden State genius, no question of that. Just his work on movie cameras alone would qualify.
And when you add to that the incandescent light...
Yes, he was a New Jersey great, all right. Now... how did you become a pizza flipper, Mr. Wordlinger?
Well, my Uncle Joseph Hanover was a famous pizza flipper, and he taught me how to flip them.
Joseph Hanover. I believe as a child I used to sneak into the Rococo restaurant, wasn't it?
That's right, the Rococo. That's where he worked.
I used to sneak in just to watch your uncle work in the center of the restaurant, flipping them as high as 40 feet sometimes.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to your uncle, Mr. Wordlinger?
Well, his eyesight got bad. A lot of the stuff he was throwing into the air began to settle on the patrons.
Yeah.
He wasn't much good after that.
Well, I'm certainly glad I caught your Uncle Joseph Hanover while he was in his prime.
I didn't have that kind of luck. I was there on his last night, a proud, defiant man, but...
Yeah, well, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
It's all right. No good to keep these things bottled up.
No,
actually, it's the first time in years I've talked about him, and I feel a bit better for doing it.
I'll tell you what I remember about him. He had those classic Grecian features, as I remember, and gnarled hands, and this ageless kind of dignity that he had.
Well, I think we'd all have to say that the man was touched by greatness.
Well, I don't know if you know this, sir, but in those days, your uncle was often compared to Ben Turpin.
I didn't know that, no.
Well, your uncle was a modest man, and he probably didn't want to tell you.
Another measure of his greatness.
Yes. He had the deep, rich quality of burnished brass. Incidentally, he was a personal friend of Bennett Cerf's in those days.
I had heard that, and it's good to have it confirmed.
Well, time's running out, sir, so I'd like to ask you, has there been any recent or radical change in pizza flipping since your uncle's day?
Well, yes, we don't flip the pizzas as high as they used to in the old days. Too many pizza snatchers around.
And a pizza snatcher is a person who grabs the descending pizza before it lands and runs off with it without paying?
Yeah, even when we throw them up as little as 2 feet, we have to elbow our way in there to grab them.
Well, it's a very unusual situation, and you've been a very unusual guest. Clifton Werdlinger, nephew of Joseph Hanover, former pizza great. Thank you.
Here's your mail, Bob and Ray.
Thank you very much.
Let's see, is there anything important there at all?
I don't know, we could rifle through it here. Maybe there's some questions that need answering.
All right.
At the end of this second week.
Well, here's one here from a person who writes, let's see, from...
It's a very nice handwriting.
Beautiful. The person writes from Detroit. Wants to know, Bob and Ray, could you tell us... Can you make out that word? Is that what a bulb is, an electric light bulb?
Well, we could. I don't think we have time. That's funny. We were just talking about Edison there and the incandescent bulb. I don't know whether she means incandescent. I presume she does. Is it a she or he?
No, it's a fellow named Steve.
Uh-huh. Well, I think we'd have to take a little more time, maybe another day.
Well, why don't we look it up over the weekend, and if we think of it Monday, we'll mention it.
I want to say thanks a heap to our director, Vic Cowan.
Oh, yeah, and Kirby Ayers, and Tom Sheehy, Joe Cabibbo. I guess that's about everybody.
And Joe Alonzo.
Right, sure. So have a nice weekend. Until the next time, Ray Goulding says, ready to get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumb.
July 10th, 1959, Bob and Ray here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. If you miss a day, you do not have to miss a single show because all of our shows are available through our webpage, which is classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting. Contact me there, classicradio.stream. You can also buy me a copy if you're so inclined. You can also find the full list of podcast apps that we know our shows are available on as well. And you can buy me a coffee if you want to, and that would be nice. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.